Right, so I wanted to ask you about D2C, and you have a number of clients in that area. It's a topic that's much talked about here at Advertising Week and the industry in general. How do D2C brands, new ones and emerging ones, work with influencer marketing, and what's the work that you do?
So in order for brands to be able to connect with creators who can in turn connect with their audience, the real key to what they do is to be willing to let go. So what we like to say is there's a big difference between brand voice and brand advocacy. So many marketers spend all their time in the brand voice spectrum, but for influencer to be effective, brands really need to let go and let influencer tell their story in their own voice, which is what we call brand advocacy. So what we do at the Outloud Group is we're working with brands to try to help understand what their high level objectives are, and then we decide what are the right influencer platform, who are the right specific influencers, and we run those campaigns and bring them to life for them.
So who are the influencers? Are those, like, I assume they're real people, generally?
They are real people indeed, yes.
And how do you find them, and how do you link them up to the brand?
Right, so we've worked with thousands of social media influencers over the course of the last year. So we have lots of great data in terms of who works well and who doesn't, but the most important part is being able to figure out who is a good fit with a specific brand, and everything needs to be authentic. The consumer is smart in 2019, and so we need to make sure that that influencer is indeed excited about the brand they're advocating for, because if they're not excited about it, the consumers are going to sniff it out and it's going to be dead at the get-go.
So how do you find these influencers? Are they like very, very big on YouTube, or are they kind of obscure people, or how do you find them?
Sure. So we have a great database of people we've worked with in the past, and then there are a number of platforms that can help you to identify strong influencers that we use. But we found that the biggest thing, and it's still a relationship business, still in 2019. So we have fantastic relationships with so many creators, and ultimately it's those relationships that allow us to be able to be so successful.
So do the influencers, what's the role, or how do they function? Is it sort of range from, doing their own social media to producing stuff together with them? What does sort of the activations look like?
So we find influencer marketing to be the most effective when the influencer is able to talk about the brand on their channel. So with influencers now, they have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of followers who have opted in. They've chosen to follow that particular creator, and they want to know what they have to say. So they're excited to hear about what their brand recommendations are. So we know now that the average consumer hates to be sold to, particularly millennials, but they love hearing what their cool older cousin recommends, and that's the influencer. So this group has really given influencers permission to share different products and brands with them, which has turned out to be really effective.
And finally, as you're looking at bigger brands, established brands, or big media agencies, there's sometimes concern about associating with influencers. So what are sort of the brand safety assurances, if you will, that are necessary and that you provide?
Yeah, great question. So with respect to brands working with creators, it depends on what the platform is. So we're big fans of video on demand, like YouTube, where these brands are going to get a chance to see a video before it goes live. So there is an opportunity to get a preview and provide input. And live streaming is a platform as well that's growing more and more popular, which is more challenging because you don't have that. In both cases, it's critical for brands to either invest the time, energy, and effort to really know the influencers well themselves, or partner with an agency who lives and breathes in the space, who can leverage their knowledge of influencer marketing and which influencers are a good fit and which aren't, in order to make sure those campaigns go off successfully and without negative impact on the brand.